Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a little not controversial. I was going to say it's going to be controversial, but it's not really controversial at all. A little bit of a spicy video. I want to do some makeup hot takes. My makeup hot takes. Now, this is like akin to like makeup trends I dislike kind of thing, but it didn't really feel right to title it that because it's not, first of all, it's not things I necessarily dislike, like that's not what it is. And I also don't really care what other people do with their makeup. Like, I genuinely couldn't give less of a shit, but it has that kind of like vibe to it. And I know Hannah Louise Poston does videos that she titles makeup hot takes, but I believe those are more, at least as far as I can remember, those are more related to hot takes about new releases. So this is just kind of like my makeup hot takes in a general sense about specific things like trends, products, you know, kind of spans the gamut of makeup. I've been thinking about this for a while, and then as I think of things, I've been adding it to my notes app. So let's just start from the top. Oh, coming in hot. This is more like I think it's not like it's a more like a makeup related thing, a makeup collection related thing, not really like makeup wearing, but I really just don't feel like you should feel, or that anyone should feel, the need to declutter. I feel like I see a lot of people, I mean, it makes sense. I will say it makes sense, I guess, if you're like an Instagrammer or YouTuber or like social media person who like gets a lot of makeup and PR, whatever. So like, obviously stuff you know you're not going to use, things like you know you're not going to get to or whatever, like it makes sense if you have like so much makeup, especially because you're buying and or like getting it a lot, you know, like in that sense I understand. But like the general average person, I feel like you don't need to like feel like you have to declutter stuff. Like, even if you are on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, like if you want to just keep your shit, keep your shit. I feel like there's always, I see posts and people talk about decluttering and stuff all the time, and just like, if you genuinely want to do that, like fucking go off, good for you, get rid of the stuff that, you know, you want to get rid of. But as someone who really doesn't declutter, I just genuinely don't ever feel the need to get rid of stuff just for the sake of getting rid of stuff. I feel like that's more what I'm trying to say. Like, if you want to keep stuff, keep it. Like, don't get rid of stuff just because, for the sake of getting rid of it. Nothing brings me more pain inside than seeing someone say, oh, I decluttered this before and then I rebought it. Oh my god. The pain that I feel on the inside when I hear that. I mean, obviously all of this is personal preference, so this is, you know, personal preference, do you, but I just feel like you don't need to feel like you have to get rid of stuff if you don't want to. This is another quite a hot take, which, and I don't think it'd be necessarily surprising if you watch me, you probably already kind of know, but I really just don't vibe with graphic liner. I know it's such a huge trend right now, especially coming off of the back of Euphoria and like Euphoria makeup and all that stuff, but it's so big. I see it all over Instagram, and I love seeing other people do it. I love seeing other people's looks with it and reels and all that stuff. I love to see all of the talented people creating literal art pieces on their little eyeballs. But for me, I think you can tell, and you know if you watch my channel, that I like grungy, smoky, blended looks. That's like what feeds my soul. It's what speaks to me creatively. As stupid as that sounds. But it just doesn't spark the same joy to think about doing a graphic look. So part of me, as someone who like creates makeup and beauty content online, even though I'm not like whatever, a huge like person or don't have a huge amount of whatever, I feel like a certain amount of, not pressure, but you know, like you want to do stuff that like people want to see. Obviously that's the entire fucking point. And so I feel like a certain amount of like pull or pressure to like do more graphic looks, and I think that I should try just to see, you know, it's always good to try new things, but nothing really about it calls to me or inspires me. It's not really like my style of makeup, so I really just don't care for graphic liner on myself specifically. I know, don't come for me, okay? As eloquently as I possibly could have put this, my next point is skin tints can suck a dick. Yeah, there's nothing about skin tints that really appeals to me. I get it. Like, I see, I guess, the general appeal, but I'm not a Glossier, no makeup, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl kind of vibe. Again, you can probably tell that. And especially also as someone who has oily skin and like scarred, acne prone skin, it just doesn't really like appeal to me at all to have a really light coverage base product at all. Especially when I do my makeup, I do it like in a more dramatic way. So I feel like sometimes that calls for like a little bit more of a full coverage base. I mean, that's again personal preference. Not saying you have to cover up any acne if you don't want to. Like, do what makes you feel good. You know, covering up my acne makes me feel good, okay? I'm not like, I don't give a shit, like, if you do you, I'll do me, but if I'm doing like my full face of makeup, I just want to cover up my pimples, I don't know, and my acne scarring and stuff. So I just know that I would have to use so much concealer if I used a skin tint that I would like, in order to cover up all of my like scarring and acne and all redness and all that stuff. So there's just like nothing about skin tints appeals to me at all. I don't really associate them with being very long wearing either, and my skin generates oil like so quickly, so I need products that are relatively long wearing. So yeah, I'm just like, love that for everyone else, but not for me. Oh yeah, I guess I should have included this after my declutter point, but in another like general makeup collection sense, oh my god, I literally I will die on this hill, okay? I feel like, again, if it makes you happy, go for it. But recently I've seen a big emphasis on like having people wanting to have more curated, like smaller collections, kind of comes off the back of decluttering and stuff. And again, if you want to have, excuse me, a smaller collection, that means that you're going to like use the products that you have more and all that stuff. That is amazing for you, but I just never have felt like having to, obviously a certain point, but having my makeup makes me happy. I buy it because I want to have it in my collection, and I'm generally, if I do say so myself, pretty good at rotating through my stuff. So I don't really feel overwhelmed by having a lot of makeup, frankly. And I think that everyone should feel happy with what they want to have, right? Like, if you want to have a lot of makeup, like, I don't think anyone needs to feel bad about that. If you like buying things and having like a large collection, or buying makeup because you want the last palette in a series to complete your collection, like, obviously consumerism and capitalism, bad, right? But to a certain extent, everyone plays into that, right? Like, we live in a capitalist society. There's not really any way of escaping it right now, at least. Anyway, I could go on a rant about this, but I won't. And I think it's important to keep in check consuming too much. As someone who is very guilty of that, obviously don't spend outside of your means, especially on makeup and all that stuff. But if you want to use any spare money that you have to buy makeup and keep expanding your collection, whatever, fucking do it. Man, who gives a shit? Like, life is too short to care about that kind of stuff. Just, you know, do what makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people think or pressure from, you know, anyone. Oh, I still like a powder highlight. I gotta say, I really do. In general, creams, that's another kind of hot take. Cream products, I've slowly dipped my toes into the pool of cream products, but I'm hesitant to like fully dive in. Look at that metaphor. Oh my god. But yeah, liquid highlighters, cream highlighters hasn't really appealed to me at all, to be honest. And I don't think they always look stripey. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, powder highlighters, blah, they look like so stripey on the skin. And they can, for sure. And I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of doing that, but I feel like they don't always have to. I find that doing them before my blush, like doing highlight and then putting blush over top, is like the absolute best way to make your highlight like blend in to your face and not look like a big stripe. And I feel like in general, I like the way my highlight looks. I have a blue highlight on today, so maybe this is not the best example, but I don't know. Again, especially as someone who has oily skin, like my skin's looking dewy by the end of the day anyway. I find powder products are generally more long wearing, so I do love a good highlight. What can I say? I'm just waiting for it to come back around. I can dabble in a liquid highlight every now and then, but usually it's also paired with a powder highlighter. So still like powder highlights, and I don't think they always look stripey. Oh, and I also like glittery highlights, like shimmery highlights with lots of sparkle. I like them. Again, with the way, like, I get it, you probably don't want that if you like a more like natural look, but I prefer to go more dramatic. And I feel like with all, like, no, this isn't natural anyway, so if I have a glittery highlight that looks like really shiny and sparkly, I'm okay with that. But I do get the other side of it. Oh, blush, something that I feel like I like that a lot of people don't like. I love pink blush. I feel like this makeup that I'm wearing today is like the perfect representation of all my hot takes. I love pink blush. I feel like so many people I watch are like, ooh, I don't really use pink blush that much. Like, I prefer something more warm tone, more peachy. Like, I totally get it. It's definitely a little bit more like natural, those type of tones, but I live for a pink blush. Pink blush, like cool toned pink blush, is my favorite blush color to wear. I think it looks so cool, and I love the way it looks with pinks and purples. I don't know, I just am such a big fan of it, and I feel like people need to branch out more. Try a pink blush once in a while. Move away from the peaches sometimes, okay? Just try it. And I remember Kat Revelle, I love her. Go check her channel out for sure. And I remember one time I was watching a video of hers and she was like, I don't want to wear pink blush, like I don't want to look like a haunted doll. And I was like, oh Kat, how I love to look like a haunted doll. So I feel strongly about that. And then my last makeup hot take for this video, I'm sure I could come up with an entire list of new ones, is that it goes against a lot of what I've said in the past, but I feel like, okay, so background, I don't buy palettes with pressed glitters. Like, I don't use pressed glitters. I don't buy palettes with pressed glitters. I mean, as best as I can, because I mean, consumerism is bad for the environment. Consuming makeup is bad, you know, like so many things are bad for the environment, but I feel like it's just like one thing for me that I try not to do, putting microplastics, like, you know, like into the environment, into the water, that kind of stuff. You know, everyone feels strongly about something. I just try not to contribute to that. But in another world, I feel like I would love pressed glitter. I've like used them a couple of times on my eyes in the past, but I'm really like, I don't use glitter really at all. But as someone who loves sparkle and shine and texture in their shadows, I feel like a pressed glitter would be like exactly right up my alley. And especially because they're in pans, they're like a little bit easier to use than loose glitters. You know, you pop a glitter glue on there. I just like legitimately feel like if I use pressed glitters, I would be the person to be like, I like pressed glitters. You know, those people who are like, I actually like them. I feel like that would be 100% me. But I just don't use them. So I try not to think about how much I potentially might love them. But yeah, let me know your opinions on pressed glitters, because I know some people don't like to use them because they're scared of putting glitter around their eyes and stuff like that, and some people do love pressed glitters. So let me know what's the split of people watching this video. I'm always interested. I would love, literally, please share a hot take, a makeup hot take of yours in the comments. I love hearing people's hot takes about makeup especially. And these are some of mine, I feel. Let me know your opinions on them. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Please let me know. As always, everything's, you know, up to the individual. Just because I think something doesn't mean you gotta. Anyway, I don't really feel like I need that disclaimer. I feel like we're generally pretty good about that over here in my side of the internet. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you even made it to the end, I really do always appreciate it. And I would love to see you in my next one. Bye.